Welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Drink a Little podcast where we talk about exploring the world of wine and spirits while not letting it take over your life. My name is Kelly Doherty. I'm a joyful child of God and a certified life coach. I'm also a wine educator and wine and spirits brand designer. I'll show you how you can navigate your relationship with alcohol and how that mindset spills over into the rest of your life. We'll learn about the world of wine and spirits together, all while bolstering your confidence that you can have boundaries around alcohol and live your most amazing life. This is episode 34, Legacy, where we are tasting the Charles Krug Cabernet Sauvignon. So how this works is at the top of the show, we taste a little wine and see where something about that wine, the character of the wine, the name of it, or a story about it leads us into a coaching conversation about not over drinking, but still living our most balanced and fruitful, amazing lives. So Charles Krug, someone who probably lived an amazing, fruitful life, is really an iconic name in the wine industry, a true legacy. This is Napa Valley's oldest winery, founded in 1861. So Charles Krug was the visionary father of Napa Valley winemaking, and that family is intertwined with the legacy of another family that you may have heard of from Napa Valley. That is the Mondavis. And so in 1943, Cesare and Rosa Mondavi purchased this iconic estate that started in 1861, the Charles Krug estate. The Mondavis bought it, and they still called it Charles Krug. They had two sons that were involved in the business. One was Peter Mondavi Sr., and his family's legacy still runs this Charles Krug winery. And the other son was Robert Mondavi. So that is more of a household name. You may likely have heard of him. In 1966, he split from Charles Krug and went and started his own winery, Robert Mondavi, just 7 miles down the road, still in Napa Valley. And so I am thankful for this. This was a gift to me, and I'm thankful to Marnell for this gift for today's episode. So let's give it a swirl and a taste. We've got it all in our glass, ready to go. The main thing that I noticed, and I did try this wine just a few minutes before I hit go because I was so excited about it. The main thing that strikes me about it is its elegance. And holy cow, this is 14.9% alcohol, but it's not something that hits you in the face with alcohol or is overly astringent or bitter. It's soft, it's comforting, it's herbal, it's herby, it's got some weight and richness to it. I think it's a little chocolate, a little fig, some deep berry flavors in there. And that little bit of herbal comes through. I had in my notes tomato leaf, but we're not all just out there eating tomato leaves. So something gardeny that's comforting in here. And the main thing I would say is that it's powerfully elegant. Wouldn't that be great if we were all powerfully elegant? I am not. I know I am not. So I just looked this up, and it says 100%. I mean, it says Cabernet Sauvignon on the labels, but it's got some friends in here. It's 92% Cabernet, a little Petit Verdot, a little Merlot, a little Cab Franc, and Malbec. All of those are just giving depth of flavors into this wine, and it is beautiful. Well deserving of a legacy name and legacy brand, Charles Krug. And so legacy is what I want to talk about today. We have all been given a legacy, whether it's in the teachings we've received throughout our lives, whether it's our families and how they handle things, or mental imprints they've given us. We all have a legacy, and some of us get stuck in that legacy. We think we have to accept it wholesale. People say things to me like, my family is all big drinkers and that's just how it is. Like, that's how it's going to be going forward. Like, they have no control or agency over that. And I'd like you to think about a legacy for yourself where you get to pick and choose the parts you want. We may not be able to change the legacy of our voice inflections or our mannerisms that seem very much like our families. Some of those things are quirky and endearing. Let's keep all of those things. And other things maybe we don't want to accept as our legacy. And if we focus on the legacy we want to leave, then some of the non-endearing parts or some of the parts that are holding us back will naturally fall by the wayside. And I have to share something that happened to me today. I was on a long drive and I had a hearse pass me, a long black car, pass me at like 85, 90 miles an hour with its hazard lights on, blinking the whole way. And so I was kind of thinking, oh, there'll be a whole bunch of other cars behind it, like a funeral procession, and that's why the lights were on. There was no other car behind it. And I was just like, for a second, I thought that's weird. And then I went on with my life. I pulled over and I got some fuel and I go back to get on the highway and I'm right there with the same guy again. So he must have pulled off, gotten fuel and taken longer than I took because now he's just right here with me. He pulled out ahead of me a little bit, but then he was driving at my speed for like 50 miles. And it was a little creepy. I was like, what is the world trying to say to me? But when you are faced with that hearse right in front of you for 50 miles, you start thinking, maybe it's something we need in front of our face, maybe not, but I maybe needed to be faced with the stark reality that none of us get out of this life alive. And I have dealt with that. I know many of you have dealt with that close and personal. So we can't think about it every day. Obviously, that's not moving things forward, but it is important to reflect on that and put things into perspective so that we are not just playing around with our lives. It reminds me of an exercise I did a few years ago that was given to me by Donald Miller. And he said the exercise is take, half an hour and write your own obituary. Write it as if you're not here. What are the paragraphs that would sum up your life that you want other people to be saying about you? And it's not that it's about other people. It's about the impact, the life-affirming impact that you would be leaving for other people. And to me, that sounds a little bit weird and a little bit depressing. And the exercise itself was actually more life-affirming than I thought it would be. And it helped me define what direction I was headed in versus that being weird or sad. So take it for what you will, but try it this week. Try to write a paragraph or two of what you would want people to say about you at the end of your life. And then I look back on it once a month, or at least think about it once a month, to see, is this my ideal, what I would want people to say? Let me check in. I might want to change that. But what is the legacy you would like to leave? And this is very focused and very uplifting. And if that makes you uncomfortable, I get it. You could say, like, here's a paragraph that I want to see my life when I'm 30, when I'm 50, when I'm 70, as doable benchmarks. And that might be a little bit less in your face than the written obituary. But the benchmarks still need to be things that scare you and excite you. And so think about that. What are the things I don't know if I can accomplish that by the time I'm 40, but I want to try. I don't know if I can get all that done by the time I'm 75, but let's go in that direction and see what happens. And having a legacy doesn't mean at all you have to have a wine estate like Charles Krug or the Mondavis and leave millions of dollars to Napa Valley. Legacy can absolutely be the love and education of those people around us. One of the things I wrote in mine that is such a struggle for me is I wrote in my obituary, I am known for my plants. And Now, while I love everything's vine, wine, and vineyard and being outside all the time, and I'm really good with houseplants, I feel that I have another 50 years of growth in learning about outdoor plants. And I know some of you are already amazing at that. So I would love your tips and tricks and what you put into the ground that works, that grows into your legacy. So think about those things that maybe don't seem possible for you, but that could leave a legacy. You never know. I think sometimes if I just touched one person, helped one person change their life, what if that is just enough? How amazing would that be? So, what can you put out there as your legacy? This is simple, clear, but challenging. And why does it matter to you? Have fun building a legacy. Let me know how it goes. I would love to hear what you guys come up with and how that legacy and building that pushes out all of those negative things out of your life. So you just grow into the most amazing version of yourself that you can be. I love you all. That is what I have for you this week. And we are next week tasting something called Meiomi Pinot Noir. You can find this almost anywhere. It's Meiomi, Meiomi Pinot Noir from California. And if you are working on your drinking and leaving a legacy and living your legacy, I do teach to a deeper level. I would be happy to help you. I have a one-on-one coaching program tailored to your needs where we cover how to stop over drinking, how to love yourself for all the right reasons, and emotional well-being. Go to kellydoherty.com/cheers to learn more. I'll see you next week.